So you're a megalomaniac trying to take over the world with robots. That really sounds familiar. Hello, I'm Mr. Matthews, and this is the Mega Man game we almost didn't get. Capcom did not intend to publish Mega Man 6 outside of Japan. I'm sure they were seeing diminishing returns on the original Mega Man series. The Super Nintendo was out in full swing, so they just couldn't justify the expense of distributing it worldwide. But anyway, I mean, who would want to play some crusty 8-bit Mega Man game when there was much more exciting games to play on the Super Nintendo? Today, we just kind of assume, we take for granted that every 5-6 years, our video game consoles will be replaced by some bigger, brighter, flashier model. Probably about 4 years into every video game console's life, we're rubbing our hands together and just eagerly anticipating the next console that Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft are going to try to sell us. Back in the early 90s, this was not the case. When the Super Nintendo came out, yes, there were some people who were very excited about it, mainly kids. However, there was a large number of people who saw that as a blatant and shameless cash grab from Nintendo. They had the attitude of, hey, I just spent $150 on the Nintendo Entertainment System like only 5 or 6 years ago. And now Nintendo's making these super games that they're essentially holding for ransom unless we buy this new console they're trying to sell us. However, Nintendo was fully prepared to capitalize on that, so they came out with a much more economic version of the NES that they were happy to sell for the low price of $50 to anyone who was either unable or unwilling to pay to upgrade to the Super Nintendo. They knew there was still money to be made on the previous generation, so Nintendo themselves published Mega Man 6 here in the West to help drive the sales of the NES Mini, the top loader. Which I don't know if actually helped Mega Man 6's legacy in the long run. I think it would be much more fondly regarded today if it was left in Japan, because I think this is the best Mega Man game on the NES. I fully believe that with all my heart, so I will double down on that. This is the best crafted Mega Man game on the NES. Doesn't mean it has to be your favorite. So if you are a Mega Man 6 denier, if you think it's a paint-by-numbers, redundant sequel, I don't know that I'll be able to change your mind. But I implore you to give it a second look, preferably right here, right now with me, because story time is over. We are going to play this game. Okay, so I think this is actually probably the best balanced Mega Man game also. There aren't any stupid, easy stages or bosses here in this game. There aren't really any hard ones either, so I think that regardless of which one you choose, if you're playing this game from a dead cold, never having experienced it before, I think you'd be just fine with any of these 8 robots to start. However, I think the best one to start with is Flame Man, so we're gonna start there. And you can see right away that the presentation here is quite a bit more elaborate than what we saw in Mega Man 5. And the music is also quite a bit better. I love this soundtrack. So I definitely put up kind of a fuss about the charge shot in Mega Man 4, and in Mega Man 5, I definitely went out of my way to not use it. I dug my heels into the sand on that one. I was right to avoid it in Mega Man 4. I stand by that. Mega Man 4 was not balanced to accommodate the charge shot. However, Capcom clearly reworked the formula with Mega Man 5, and I realized that at the very end. I was just kind of being an ass by not by refusing to use the charge shot. Clearly, we were supposed to be fighting those bosses with either the weapon that was effective against them or by using the charge shot. You could tell that by how many of the bosses had extended periods of invulnerability that you were obviously supposed to be using to charge up your Mega Buster. So I think I wasted my time quite a bit there. Probably made the game a bit more challenging than it really needed to be. A bit more tedious than it really needed to be. So, gonna be doing things again a little differently here in Mega Man 6. All bets are off. I'm going to be using the charge shot, using the weapons. We're just gonna have fun with this game. And use all the tools at Mega Man's disposal. Now, there's a good reason for doing Flame Man first. His weapon is probably the most overpowered weapon in the game. It's really good to have that right away. Also, he is the one that gives you the Rush power adapter. Now, Rush does return in this game, but not in his dog form. He actually kind of transforms and joins with Mega Man to make a power suit. So there are two suits available. One is the power suit that we just got from Flame Man, and the other is the jet suit that we get from Plant Man. So I'm not really following the chain of weaknesses for these robots. I'm kind of going after the power suits first, because those open up like secret areas. Because there's a lot more exploration with Mega Man 6 than any of the previous games. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get that. So, oops. So with the power suit, you can kind of charge up a Mega Punch. You can't slide, but your offense is definitely increased. And I love using the power suit. It's a lot of fun to play with. Oop, get away. There are lots of mini bosses in this game, which I am glad to see, and Flame Blast is pretty much going to be effective against all of them. Jumped right in that one. Yeah, I'll do. Fortunately, you can skip that animation of transforming into the power suit. think Plant Man stage is kind of universally reviled because of those fishes. They're not really that hard to avoid. We've seen this kind of obstacle in Mega Man games before. It's always a pain in the ass, but no harder here than any other game. I think Plant Man is also kind of thought of as one of the worst Mega Man bosses. I think he's all right. I really like his colors. He reminds me of the Joker, which isn't a bad thing. I also really like the use of colors in this game. Plant Man stage, especially the trees in the background, just fantastic to look at. I think the colors are so striking in this game. They almost remind me of the colors in the Transformers movie, if that makes sense. Definitely see that in some of the other stages. All right, so I guess now we will just kind of follow along with just the order of the bosses, which I'm not doing here. Oh well. Like I said, I mean, this game isn't so hard that you have to use the correct weapon against a lot of these bosses. Thank you. The power suit pretty much one-shots a lot of these enemies too. And it doesn't run out of energy, which is neat. I like that a lot. And he has a really cool run animation too. That's a shame. All the way back to the start, too. Yes, there goes the no death run. The F blast also one-shots a lot of enemies. Kind of curious if he would do those guys, but I guess not. All right now. I learned. And this is a good spot to use the Rust Jet pack. Also, you can't slide with that, but definitely helps you out in a pinch with some of the trickier platform areas. Does it one-shot pandas out? Let's see. Two shots, not bad. Oops. Like right here is just a good example of the just striking colors in this game. That green pillar in the background, pretty cool looking. Well, let's try not to have another embarrassing death. Yeah, so this weapon is basically a cross between Bubble Lead and Air Shooter from Mega Man 2. The weapons in this game are not terribly original, but they are pretty useful, especially compared to the selection we had in Mega Man 5. So although they lose points for not being terribly exciting, they definitely gain them back for being useful to use. block have? 1 up. All right. I think this actually has a secret. Worth it. Oh, can't slide. Forgot. Come on now. Oh shoot. Been using the F-blast a little too liberally, and he is handy to There we go. Yeah, I should have been saving a bit more for Blizzard Man. Not that Blizzard Man's really that hard, but naturally going to be a little easier with the correct weapon, especially if you actually have energy for it. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, he's a little silly. He's a little silly looking, but more than Iceman, I think. I don't think so. I deserve that. Yeah, the robot designs here are not any more on the nose than they are in any of the other Mega Man games. Iceman being a big one. And Fireman also. There's nothing wrong with being obvious sometimes. Yeah, his attack pattern isn't very exciting. So he's probably one of the weaker bosses in this game. And I haven't really found too much of a use for his blizzard attack other than, you know, fighting Plant Man the correct way. All right, so who do we go to next? Let's do Yamato Man. Yeah, I'm doing these H's completely out of order. So these remaining stages all have kind of secret paths, because there are secret boss fights in these last 4 stages. See, I'll use the power block or the power suit right there to take a completely different route through the stage and fight a different version of Yamato Man. I say a different version, it's the same version, but you get a beat letter. So you collect the BEAT and you unlock beat. So technically, unlike Mega Man 5, you can actually play at least half of these initial 8 stages with beat if you wanted to do that. But more than actually collecting beat, I think the extra wrinkle of complexity and depth is what really stands out for me. How thoughtful it is for them to include that kind of stuff. I think this game was definitely in development around the same time as Mega Man X. So the two games actually share kind of similar design philosophies with more exploration-based gameplay. And I would definitely call the two Rush suits kind of like ability upgrades more so than Rush was in the other games. What's up here? I don't even remember. That guy. Let's see how he likes F-Blast. He doesn't like it. Cool. Now this is actually the alternative boss battle. This is actually what gets you the beat ladder. I don't have the correct weapon, but it's just fine. Hey. I do think it's kind of silly that he throws his spear at you and then he has to run across the room to pick it up again. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen a boss do that, so points for originality. Now I'm going to revisit the Yamato Man stage, but not right now. So let's go to... let's try to be... Yeah, we'll go to Nightman. I was trying to think of the order I should do the remaining stages in to utilize their weapons, and I thought I had killed that opportunity for myself, but there's still one weapon I can collect that's useful against one of the remaining bosses. Keep on trying to slide. This is also my favorite music track in the game. I really like this music. I love that effect of punching that guy away. Nice shot. I hope not to use any of these E-tanks, but might as well collect them. Now with the 4 robots that have alternative boss fights, there's not really much incentive to revisit them, except for Yamato Man and Tomahawk Man actually give you something else to do if you play them twice. However, I believe all the stages, I think, have alternative color palettes when you return after you've beaten the boss, which is a pretty fun touch. Kind of shows that you've rendered the stage into darkness because you beat the boss. Here's another thing that I just love about this game. I don't have the correct weapon to use against Nightman, I don't think. Wait a minute, I do. I think it's Yamato Spear. I'm not going to use it though. Nightman has that shield, so he blocks all my shots. However, the power suit, boom, doesn't do a lot of damage, but it breaks his shield. That is an awesome touch. I'm gonna still switch over to Yamato though, just to get it up. Why are the options so funky? There we go. Let's just get it over with a little faster. Nice. Anyway, I like that because there's actually definitely a lot of utility with the power suit that you didn't really see with a lot of the other Rush adapters from the previous games, especially Rush Marine. But how often did you really even use Rush Jet or Rush Coil? Especially once they started adding other ways to get to the top of the screen. So, good job Capcom for thinking outside the box with these Rush suits. Definitely a positive change. So let's go back to Yamato Man stage. Hopefully everyone remembers what the original color palette was, because now it's going to be different. Not quite the same as the changes you saw in the Mega Man X stages, but pretty darn close. That's a level of thought that Capcom hasn't shown yet. When you use this path, you actually get the mini boss of the stage. Hey, that takes 3 shots. Let's see, is he weak to flame blood? We're gonna find out. I like that. A frog riding samurai throwing bombs at you. That's fun. It's just so good to see the mid-level bosses returning after Mega Man 5. I don't know why I do know why they were probably just being lazy. But it's disappointing that Capcom took them out, or even bothered to put them into the previous game. I don't know why they just couldn't be bothered to be creative. Well, I do know why they were probably just being lazy. But I'm fine with them putting all that creativity into this game. know if I mentioned this, but I also really love the music in this game. It's not quite as epic and memorable as Mega Man 2 or even Mega Man 3 or I waited too long. As Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, or Mega Man 4. But just still just really, really solid music. Almost every single track. Alright, so let's not dilly-dally getting over these jumps here. Sure that Tomahawk is the weapon used against Yamato Man. Oh, I already beat him though, so I guess that's kind of a non-factor. So let's go to Tomahawk Man now. Yeah. Another good stage for the power suit. This hard hat dispenser, and yes, you can knock those hard hats out with the power suit, in case you're wondering. Boom. Get out of here. And a completely superfluous area with the rust jet. But welcome just the same. Do we need any energy? I don't think so. So this is the way to the extra boss, but I'm going to take this route because there's something else I want up here. As far as I know, this is the first appearance of the energy balancer, so I no longer need to go into the menu and choose a specific weapon to charge up my weapon energy. which is an awesome, awesome addition. Now, I suppose that Tomahawk Man is probably the toughest boss fight in this game. Plant Barrier is the weapon that is effective against him. Which means you have to get up right into his face and into the danger zone. What kind of sucks about the... He's gone. All right. Well, I sure have a lot of E-tanks. Seems really early in the game to be using them, but that's fine. We'll be back. The most probably the most silly design in this game, but all right. I do like the warrior theme that a lot of these boss designs have, with Yamato Man and Tomahawk Man, even Centaur Man, Nightman, obviously. Oh no. It's almost like they did have kind of a motif in mind, instead of just a haphazard collection of disparate attributes. There seems to be something going on with the controls in this game, though. It seems like a lot of the jump inputs seem to be lost or eaten. And I don't think it's just me. My friend Joe from Stampede Gaming also played through this game recently. He did a no power-ups run, which, especially in the last half of the game, it does get quite a bit trickier than these first 8 stages, and I was very curious to see how he was going to be getting through some of those areas without using the sub weapons or the rush suits. And he did a pretty fantastic job. And yes, Joe, I will be using some of your techniques coming up. Anyway, but he also mentioned that some of the jumps were a little wonky in this game. And until he mentioned it, I thought it was just my controller. But, and he was blaming himself also. So I think the two of us together have established some kind of pattern. So if you've also experienced this while playing Mega Man 6, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious, because I think it might just be a conspiracy. So the easy boss fight is obviously down below, but we are going to go to the beat boss fight, so we can get that B or T. And Centaur Man as a one of the annoying time freezing bosses. I don't got time for that. You can't tell, but he's freezing time right there. So that is good enough for now. We will pick this up next time. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Mr. Matthews. Goodbye.